1. When the stars disappear. Man who is born of a woman is few of days and full of trouble. Job, chapter 14, verse 1. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows. John, chapter 16, verse 33, NLT. The telephone rang about 9 on a Sunday morning while we were getting ready for church. I heard the answering machine pick up. As we headed for the garage, I hit the play button. A familiar voice said, "Dr. Talbot, this is Graham. Are you there?" After a couple of seconds of waiting, I heard him say, and then hang up. It was September. Graham had graduated from Wheaton College in May, and then headed overseas for some graduate study in philosophy. He became a philosophy major after taking one of my introductory courses in the fall of his freshman year. We had talked a lot that year. I was encouraged by the depth of his Christian commitment, cheered by his quick humor, and pleased with his sharp, active mind. For a couple of years after that class, we lost contact. Then I bumped into him at the start of the last term of his final year. He said he would really like to talk. Over lunch, he described the depression that had dogged him for years. He had begged God to lift it, but nothing had changed. And so now he was tired, deeply depressed, and uncertain. How could he believe that Christianity was true if God hadn't answered his desperate prayers? We arranged to talk regularly. He told me he had been in counseling for several years. I had known other chronically depressed students, so I knew how profound their suffering could be. He was grateful when I offered to talk with his parents, which I started doing right away. Often when I'm dealing with depressed and potentially suicidal students, I ask them to promise they will try to call me at any time, night or day, if they're desperate. Graham had promised, but that Sunday morning he hadn't sounded distressed. After listening to his voice message, I found myself thinking perhaps he was back in the States temporarily and just wanted to get together for lunch. Monday afternoon, I came home from a meeting to find another message, this one from Graham's father. They had received word that Graham had been killed when he was hit by a train. I called them. They had tried to reach the proper authorities, but they hadn't yet been able to learn anything more. I kept my fears to myself, but when I got home the next day, Graham's dad had left another message. It seemed clear Graham's death was a suicide. As I pieced it together, it became clear that Graham had kept his promise. He had called me less than an hour before he stepped in front of the train. Calamitous suffering. Profound suffering involves experiencing something so deep and disruptive that it dominates our consciousness and threatens to overwhelm us, often tempting us to lose hope that our lives can ever be good again. A calamity is an extraordinarily grave event marked by great loss and lasting distress and affliction. Both calamities, such as losing a child to suicide, and chronic conditions, such as the continuous care of a severely disabled child or Graham's seemingly never-ending struggle with depression, can produce profound suffering. Graham's death has been a calamity. Calamities, like earthquakes, start in cores of tragedy that have waves of suffering radiating out from them. For onlookers, the sufferers' lives may soon seem fairly normal again, but for the sufferers themselves, there may be deep inner fault lines that outline shattered faith. The upheavals involved can be so great that it can seem like life can never be good again. These fault lines often reveal themselves in a series of insistent, unanswered questions. Graham's parents keep asking these. How could God allow this to happen to our son? We know God is all-powerful and governs everything, so why didn't he alter this course of events?
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.